Hello enhancers, and welcome back to my channel. And look who I have with me. It's a baby. Yes, the baby is here. So I had this little one on January the 20th, and the baby weighed in at 7 pounds 15 ounces. Yes. So the doctors were right. I was going to have a bigger baby this time. But what was the difference? You know, I think I might do a video on this because with my daughter, I ate meat. I ate everything. Was a conventional eater. With my son, I was vegetarian, and I just didn't, eat meat. I did the dairy and milk, eggs. And with this baby, I ate vegan, which I kind of knew I would have a bigger baby too, because I said, I bet you if I eat vegan and I eat the type of way that I'm eating, everything I ate was just full of nutrition. I said, I bet you I'm gonna have a big baby. So I really want to probably do a video on that, the difference of eating those 3 different ways. And they say too, you always have a bigger baby, your second and third baby, and always have a baby that played a part in it as well. But very interesting, I must say. But the baby is here, and I wish I could come on here and tell y'all a nice, happy story of how I just went to the hospital and I made it there on time, and I was able to get my IV, and I didn't do an epidural. I never do an epidural, and it's not because I'm Superwoman. Some of you all are better than me, believe me. I look up to you all, the ones who can get an epidural, because I can't have no needle. And I was always afraid because they say it's a big needle. Like, I always just feel like something might happen and I might get paralyzed, or some crazy thoughts that just goes through my head. But it all started when I was, quick story, when I was about 5 years old. I remember my mom took me to the doctor and I had to get a shot. And I remember I had to get the shot in my leg, and I was just going hysterical because I was scared of needles. I was very young, and I remember them trying to hold me down so they could give me the shot, and I was just traumatized after that. Because I remember, probably from me moving so much, it hurt really bad. It was just horrible. Like, I was very traumatized after that. It took a long time for me to get over that. Even when I was in college and I was running track, they was like, oh, we gotta get a physical, they gotta draw blood, and that almost made me not even want to run track. So I remember I went into the clinic and on campus, and they drew blood, and I was about to faint. I was hyperventilating, and lucky it was a girl on the track team there. She had like a little nab, some crackers that she gave me that I could eat just to get my sugar stable, I guess. But I was going like, I guess I was hyperventilating, just traumatized. You all can go get epidurals. Good for you. I wish I could have got one, but I'm too chicken. So that's why I don't get epidurals. And I know some of y'all probably like, girl, please, you'd rather go through all that pain? Yeah. Horror story is coming, but secretly I didn't want to get an epidural. I didn't want to get anything, no medication at all. But I wasn't going to end up in the hospital, and they asked me and I was going to turn it down, turn the IV down either. So I'm kind of glad it happened like this, because I got to experience no medication at all. So on to the story, because I don't want this video to be too long. It started January 19th. I was like, it just, something wasn't feeling right. I could feel something was going on. Like, I was just very uncomfortable. Even that night when I tried to go to sleep. Now, usually at night, the baby goes to sleep and it doesn't even feel like I'm pregnant. Like, the baby does not move at all. I can get up a million times a night, and the baby just sleeps. I don't know what that was, but I loved it. But I could not get comfortable that night. And then I remember, like, at 12 o'clock, I looked at the time and I was like, man, what is going on? I can't get comfortable. It seemed like I had to keep getting up and go pee every 10-15 minutes. I said, no, something is not right. And then I started noticing a pattern. And so I said, you know what? I better keep an eye on this. I have to sit up. I had to sit up for all of my pregnancies. This one I could kind of lay down a little bit, but as I got to the end, I really couldn't at all. And so I always had a bunch of pillows. Oh my goodness, I had to get up like a million times a night, always repositioning, trying to get comfortable. Like, that's a whole nother story. And so, because every time I would, go back to try to lay down and get comfortable, I noticed that I would get these real bad Braxton Hicks contractions. I could tell it was getting strong. It's hard for me to breathe through them. I was like, something ain't right here. So I was like, I better just start timing it, and that's what I started doing. Like, it seemed like they was coming like every 10 minutes. I said, oh. So I went in the room, woke my husband up. I said, I think we might have to get up because we might have to go to this hospital tonight. And so called my mom, because that's another thing. My daughter, she was just getting through her quarantine. She had COVID. So that Saturday would be the day she could, you know, they only do it for about 5 days now. You have a quarantine. So that Saturday, you know, she would be finished with all the quarantining. So I called my mother because my mother would have to come over, or either we decided that she would have to take me to the hospital. That way my husband can stay here because he doesn't do good in those types of situations anyway. So that's what we decided. And so I called my mother. She's like, okay, well, come on over. So it started getting to the point where I was like, oh no, I can't wait for my mom. She's like 20-25 minutes away. I was like, and the way those contractions was coming, I was like, I can't wait on her. I said, call the ambulance, because my husband was asking me to call 911 when we call the ambulance. I said, yeah, go ahead and call the ambulance. The worst mistake of my life. Oh, the worst mistake. If I could rewind the time. So we call the ambulance. So the contractions are getting, like, I could tell I was timing was about 8 minutes apart. They was coming really fast. Just standing by the door, waiting on the ambulance. And I was like, well, I gotta get to this hospital. It was getting hard for me to breathe through the contractions. And so we saw the lights. They called the ambulance, they called the fire department, the fire truck, and they showed up. I was outside the door. I had already gotten into my hot gown. That's another mistake. This hot gown my mother bought me, it's comfortable now. But I should not, I should have known better. But anyway, got into my hot little gown. So put on my little green jacket, and I'm out the door waiting on them like, come on. As soon as y'all come, I'm gonna hop myself in the ambulance. I ain't even gotta pull the stretcher out. I'm gonna hop up in there. And so they came, and the fire truck came. I'm like, why they call the fire truck? Come on now. So they showed up, and they was calling off people like, oh, tell them to go back. We don't need backup and all this. And I'm like, come on, y'all. We told y'all the situation. You just got a pregnant person on your hand. And so they come up to the door, they got the little stretcher thing. I'm about to throw myself on it like, y'all gotta hurry up, y'all gotta move it now. And they was like, are you the one needing to go to the hospital? I'm like, yes. It was like, okay, you know, we all outside. They putting me out on the stretcher outside. I don't care who was looking. I'm glad it was nighttime when the neighbors was sleeping. Got on the stretcher, the little gurney, whatever you want to call it. And they put me in the ambulance. I was like, okay. I'm looking. They had some type of digital clock, like right in front of me. I was keeping my eye on the time, keeping notice of my surroundings. There was a guy and a lady, an older lady, and oh my goodness, like I said, the worst mistake of my life. They trying to ask me all kind of information and get information first. I'm like, don't y'all see I'm in labor? I can barely breathe. The pain is getting me worse. And now that I think about it, she probably was trying to train the guy who was sitting back there with me. She was like, okay, I'm gonna let you sit back there. He's gonna sit back here with you. I'm gonna drive. I mean, taking this slow time. I had to sit in front of my house like at least for 10 minutes, just waiting to go to the hospital. But they trying to get information and look like she trying to train him on what to do. I'm like, are y'all serious? So finally, you know, she get in and start trying to drive me to the hospital, and they making phone calls, I guess, to let them know that I'm coming. The hospital that I was supposed to go to was 45 minutes away, because I heard her, the lady who was driving, when we finally got going, and she was like, okay, it's gonna be a 45-minute drive. Try to make it as not bumpy as we can. I'm thinking to myself, I don't care if I'm flying up in this air, just get me to the hospital. Like, you make it as bumpy as you want to be. Like, I gotta get to this hospital. Like, I don't think people know how intense that pain is. Like, you can't play like that, man. Like, you literally feel like you're dying. Like, you're just gonna pass out. Like, you can't do it. Like, Lord, I give up. You can't play around with that type of pain. And when she said that, something clicked in my mind, like, girl, get out of this ambulance. The way they was moving, something told me, get out the ambulance and just go back in the hospital. Never mind. Tell your husband to take you to the hospital. Something told me twice, get out the ambulance. Get out, make the decision, get out the ambulance and just go to the nearest hospital. But I tried to stay calm and not tell these people a piece of my mind. It took everything in me not to. So after she had said that, I said, oh man, this ain't gonna work here. We finally, like, I mean, in the hospital from my house, we got a hospital, it's right here. It's like, ooh, I'll say about 8 minutes away. So, y'all, it seemed like it took about 30 minutes to get to that hospital because they was taking a slow time. Let me tell you what flashed in my mind. You remember that movie Tom Hanks played in, The Burbs? I don't know why that had flashed in my mind. I'm gonna probably put that in the video, play a clip of it. That's how I feel. That's why I should have done it. Oh, them people had me mad. Oh my goodness. Take me to the hospital, man. I should have just thrown myself in the ambulance like Tom Hanks did. Like, take me to the hospital. All these people, Toodle-dee and Tootie-dum. I hate to talk about people, but they gonna get it in this video. I thought about it a long time. I even thought about calling, you know, even to this day, calling the department and giving them a bad report. But I was like, no, I better tread lightly because you never know. I might need help. And I'm saying people might show up. So you gotta be careful how you tread lightly. But oh my goodness, so something told me to get up out that ambulance and I should have listened because usually my intuition is on point. I should have got out. Oh my goodness. So here we go. The longest ride of my life. Those contractions were coming it started speeding up. They were coming. Ooh, by the time we got there, I was at 1 minute apart with the contractions. It was like contractions and pain. When I was in the ambulance, because the guy, he up there trying to call, I'm trying to get him to call my husband. He on the phone, I guess he on the phone with the hospitals, because they got to the point I was like, take me to the nearest hospital. Take me to the nearest hospital. And the guy told the lady, she said, take her to the nearest hospital. Yeah, I gotta get away from y'all too, because oh my goodness. And I'm screaming, I'm in pain. I was like, I gotta move my legs. Because I felt like I had to put my legs, because I felt like I had to start pushing. I was like, I gotta push. And they was like, no, don't push. And I secretly did push 2 times, but I was trying to hold it in, because pushing made it the pain less. I was trying to make it, because I was like, man, I didn't want to have the baby in the ambulance. So I just tried to keep it together. Like, I was like, girl, you gotta calm down. Like, in that situation, and you pregnant, you just gotta remember, you gotta stay calm. Especially when some contractions start getting like 1 minute apart. Oh, you better not be trying to use up all your energy, yelling and screaming. That's when I think, when I had calmed down, I was like, girl, you better calm down, because you gotta be breathing when you got a chance to breathe, and get ready for the next contraction, because it's coming. And so by the time we got to the hospital, they had already called the hospital, because I heard when she had called me, she's like, we 4 minutes away. And so also, I played a lot of possum. Oh yes, I did, because even in the ambulance, they trying to get information. They got to the point, like, you know, when them contractions started getting almost a 1 minute apart, trying to ask me stuff. I'm like, I ain't hear them. Possum. I'm incapacitated. So I'm like, y'all figure it out. Why are y'all trying to ask me all this stuff? Just get me to the hospital. Like, y'all be done kill somebody be done die on y'all watch. And so the nurses was already outside when we pulled up. Oh goodness be here. I was opening my eyes at certain points that I had to take note of my surroundings. I had to keep myself like, okay, you gotta stay focused until you get to this hospital. You gotta try to stay in the fight, because I had to talk to myself. In the ambulance, I was trying to call my mama. I was trying to get the phone and call my husband so he could call my mama, because my mama had already messing going on down to the hospital. I would find out later. She was already down there. I was like, man, I gotta try to make this phone call. I was in so much pain. I was trying to, because the guy, he was on the phone with the hospital, whatever. I was trying to grab my phone. I said, I gotta grab this phone. I gotta try to call somebody. Ooh, through all that pain, I was trying to focus. I just could not do it. But I needed my coach. God, it's me and you now. It's me and you. No husband, no mama, no epidural, no nothing. I was like, okay, girl, we're going into this hospital. We screaming inside this hospital like you crazy, and people probably waiting here. But luckily, this hospital, it's a very quiet hospital. There's never a lot of people there. Like, I like going here. Like, you can get in and out. Like, it's always very calm and quiet. It was a time. And so they finally got me upstairs. I remember I opened my eyes again when they got me in the elevator. So I had to, oh, y'all hurry up. So they finally got me upstairs into the labor and delivery. Asking me a whole bunch of questions. So now they gotta get more information to try to put in the computer. And so the ambulance people, you got me on the gurney. The nurse is following them. It's like, okay, you gotta try to scoot yourself over into the bed. How am I do that? in the pain I'm in. Oh, play possum again. I didn't pay no more attention. I said, y'all figured out. I already know y'all can lift this sheet up under me and put me on this thing. That's just what they did to these people. And so, they trying to ask me a whole bunch of questions, get my name and date of birth. I'm like, can y'all do this afterwards? Oh my goodness. I remember being so hot. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to take this gown off. But I couldn't communicate that with them. Like, I was just so incapacitated. And I heard one of the nurses say, let's try to get this gown off. I was like, yes, I was burning up. I heard them ask me, it's like, you want us to cut it? I was like, yeah, you can cut it. And so I remember they was cutting the gown off me, and basically took off my sports bra too, because I ain't had one of those sports bra by the end of it. Like, I didn't even know they took that off. And so I was like naked on the table, like completely naked. But I didn't even care. Let me tell you, when you're going through that much pain, you will not care who in that room, who looking at you. Let me tell you, that pain ain't nothing to play with. Like, that's a pain like no other. You know, let's take a look at it. They cut that up. Oh yeah, it's unbearable. Oh, this thing is so soft. So soft. Very comfortable, but look. Oh, cut up, man. Yep. They cut that off of me. They finally got me on the hospital bed. And then I saw the doctor came in. I guess he was trying to check and see how much or how far I had dilated. And, you know, finally they put my foot up into the little gurneys, and I heard the doctor say, push. And I was like, yes. Finally, I never thought I would be so happy to push. But, and this was the longest extended push I ever did. I ain't never had a baby so fast. But I always try to keep my labor and delivery under 2 hours. Like, once I start pushing, I ain't about to be in labor for no, I done heard some horror stories, 17 hours and a whole day, and we ain't doing that. And that's another thing I want to talk about when it comes to epidural, because see, you get epidural, the doctor's got to tell you when to push. Like, even with the IV, I remember I got the IV with my daughter and my first son, and even then I didn't feel that urge to push. Like, they was always like, you feel the urge to push. I never felt that urge. Whereas without any medication at all, you will feel that need to push. At least that was my experience. So that's a good thing. I think it's always good when you can do things naturally, because then your body will tell you what to do, and you will feel everything, of course. It's very painful, but you know. Rain and sleep. Alright, so ain't too loud, is she? And so, but yeah, you will feel everything. Your body will tell you what to do. Versus if you get an epidural or the IV, the doctors pretty much got to tell you when to push. I think that can cause labor and delivery to be longer in a sense, because you're too comfortable. So, but yeah, so the doctor's like, push it. I pushed the first time, and I remember I felt something move down. And I remember them telling me to hold my legs. And I'm in all this pain, I'm trying to push. And I guess it's because when I had my daughter and my first son, I remember the nurses, you know, they helped me hold my own legs. So I was kind of like confused. And then, you know, so I was like, whatever. I just grabbed my legs and try to hold my legs and push at the same time. And I remember I was doing it wrong, because it just seemed confusing trying to pull my legs up also while bearing down trying to push. And I think I was pulling my legs down instead of up. And it was like, no, hold your legs, hold your legs. So I guess I wasn't doing it right. But in the end, I was like, you know what? That really worked. I'm glad they made me do it myself, because it felt very different than the nurses doing it. Like, that really helped a lot with me actually doing it. For some reason, I kind of got it. And I was like, okay, normally you get a little break. But I was like, keep pushing. I said, okay. So I push again, and that's, oh, sorry. I'm going to be too loud. And that's when I felt the head pop out. And so I thought I had another break. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a little break. And the doctor's like, push again. Keep pushing. So I push again, and finally the baby came out. And guess what the sex or the gender of the baby is? Yes. Are you going to wake up for them? Are you going to wake up? Let's see. I got to do the Lion King. The Lion King hold. It's a boy! Remember I told you all about my dream? Like, oh, here we go. Like, never in my 18 years had I had a dream where the sex of the baby changed. Like, never. Like, once it was one gender, it stayed that gender, always. And so it was like, when I was 3 months, it was so funny when I had a dream and it changed to a boy. Hey God, I thought you were showing me that it was gonna be a girl. Like, what's really going on? And I chose not to believe it because y'all know I stuck to my guns and I was still saying, no, ain't no way. It was so weird. I never had a dream to where it just switched. The whole gender just completely switched. Like, all my 18 years and dream about my nieces and nephews, like, all of my dreams were 100% accurate. Even this one was accurate. Even though I chose not to believe it, I still stuck to my guns and said a girl, but no, it was correct. It switched to a boy. And I remember after that, I still had dreams about it being a girl, but then I remember I still had another dream too, where it was a boy. And I was like, man, so that's the second dream. And so, yep, completely switched. And God was so right, and He is so awesome, because He knew maybe my son needed a brother, not a sister. So I'm happy about that. God will always give you the desires of your heart. Even though I wanted a girl, I desired a boy because I didn't want him to have a brother. So I'm so glad. So this is Adonis Jackson. And you get this because see, my OBGYN, she thought it was real funny. She was like, yeah, you know, they set my due date for January 25th. And she was like, yeah, you might have that baby on your son's, my first son's birthday, which is January 19th. And I was like, haha, because I really didn't want them to have the same birthday. But, you know, after to think about it, I love the fact that he has been born on January 20th. So I say, you know what, look at God. You know, gave me a son, a brother for him. And same birthdays, like literally if I had my son about 5 hours and almost a half earlier, it would have had the same birthdays. So, and you know, I gave them the same AJ initials as far as their name. So I always want to just keep them together and close. Like, I kind of love the fact that they have almost the same birthday now, because like I said, they was telling me that my due date was January 25th, and then my OBGYN was telling me that the only thing that they had open was the 27th. She said she'll let me know if somebody gives birth before then maybe I can do it earlier. And I remember she called me that week. It was like the week that I had the baby. One of the girls didn't have the baby, so she could move me up to the 25th. But even with that, I don't want my son to have an induced birthday. Like, I want him to have his real birthday. Those two will be able to celebrate their birthdays together, have the same initials. So hopefully they'll just grow up to be best friends and really close. So after I had the baby, you know, they take the baby and put the baby under the heat lamp and do all the measurements and things like that. And I was just in so much pain. Like, I thought going through the labor part was painful. Man, I was in so much pain. I guess because I didn't have any type of medication, like I could feel everything. And I couldn't even hold my baby. They was like, you want to hold your baby? I was like, I thought about it for a second. I was like, I'll probably be done drop my baby on the floor because I was in that much pain. I had asked the nurses, you know, can I get some Tylenol or, you know, some pain medication? You know, they brought me some, I think ibuprofen. And I asked again about 10 minutes later, like, can I get another one, or can I get something stronger, or can I get a little bit more pain medication? I was just like in so much pain. And then one of the nurses came in and she's like, oh, we gotta press on your stomach to make sure we get all the blood clots out. And you know, she came and she pushed on my stomach. Oh my goodness, that was almost worse than giving birth. And I don't remember them doing that. Like with my daughter, they didn't do that when I had my daughter nor my son. Like, that's some painful stuff. Pushing on somebody's stomach after they just had a baby. Like, come on now. So that was very painful. I was already in pain. Now you put me in more pain. It's just like, no, I gotta do this. You gotta let me do this. I was pushing her hand away because, you know, you don't want to get sepsis and then you have to go to the hospital and they have to, I guess, operate on you to get it out. And I know what she was talking about because I remember I had a cousin that had twins. And I remember when she had died, and that's what I think she had died of. She had sepsis after she had the twins. So I mean, I know what the nurses was talking about, and so, you know, I I let her push it. Then she was like, oh, I'm gonna have to come back 20 or 30 minutes later. I think she said 30 minutes later, I'm gonna have to do it again. I was like, oh man. I was just thinking to myself, like, how many times we gonna have to do this? Because ain't no way I can go through this type of pain. Like, it's so painful, you know, I'm so in pain, I can't even hold my own baby, like, and I want to hold him so bad. Pain, pain, pain. Boy, what a painful day I had. From the hospital ride, going into the hospital, and that pain didn't go away until, like, I want to say that afternoon, yeah, is when I probably started feeling a little bit better, and I didn't really need hardly any pain medication. And so, whew, man, what a painful experience. Yeah. And so, but yeah, it's a boy. I got a boy. I got 2 boys, 1 girl. And even through all this pain, guess what? I'm thinking about having another one. Let me tell you about pregnancy. Like, it's the worst pain ever, but you will never really remember it. It's like the weirdest thing. You will, even all that pain, I guess that's why people still have kids. And although some people do traumatize, like I don't talk to a lot of women, they're like, oh, I ain't having no more kids. Like that pain is something else. Like they can't even go through the pain again. But you will actually forget about it, except the people that become traumatized about it. But I wouldn't mind having another little one. I'm gonna miss being able to hold a baby with one hand, butt and all. Miss little hands and little feet. And he's growing so fast, so he's already 9 pounds and some ounces. So I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but he's, you know, like I said, about 3 weeks now, so almost gonna be a month. But I'm so happy with what I have, and I don't want to scare anybody. That's why I try to laugh and have little funny moments during this video. I don't want to traumatize, you know, that girl out there who's wanting to have kids, and I don't want them to look at this video and be like, oh, see, that's why I'm not having any kids. Like that pain right there, the horror stories that I have heard, like don't let this video put fear in you, because like I said, your body's going to do what God has, you know, planned for it to do. Like you can do it, even though it's painful. I mean, but you can get an epidural. If you want an epidural, get an epidural. Like I guess people who want to get an epidural, good for y'all. I wish I could get one. I wish I wasn't so chicken. Get your epidurals. You know, have them babies, have your little family. Like, don't be scared. It's nothing scary. Don't plan on it being perfect though. You see what happened to me. See, that's why you don't plan. And let me tell you, I was in that hospital bag and all. Guess what I use out that hospital bag? Hardly nothing. I tried to use the pacifier. This baby here, he don't like pacifiers at all. He'll spit it out in a heartbeat. I did use my nipple cream. Did it give me? No, they didn't give me nipple cream. I remember my son they had given me some nipple cream. So I did use that. I didn't drink the tea. I ain't had time for that. I did eat the bars, my little booby bars, my lactation bars, Body Armor. I made sure I drank that. I didn't really use nothing though. Shoot, that was about it. I didn't use nothing in that bag. I tell you, you don't need that hospital bag. No. Because they will have everything for you. Underwear, baby diapers. They filled me up with diapers. I need some more diapers. But they brought more diapers and, you know, just everything. Milk. They even gave me I think it's called a Medela. The hand pump. Because they had even brought in the big Medela, the electrical one. The big pump if I wanted to pump my breast. But it was like I could have it, because I asked him, I was like, I can have this, and he was like, yeah, it's yours. The whole Medela kit, got all the little kit the pieces in there. Like, I like it. That's what I was using, was my electrical one. I don't know what's going on with that. I had an even flow electrical that I could plug up that one, and I don't know what's going on. It's not suctioning, so I'm gonna try to troubleshoot that and fix that this afternoon. That bag was a waste of time. But it was fun. I love preparing for things. That's the most fun, when you actually do the preparation part of it. It's fun. It was fun. I just wanted to have fun with it, but you don't need no hospital bag. My son loves to come kiss him and tell us a million times a day how he just loves his little brother, and sometimes his mouth be messy from eating. I guess that's, I don't know. I think he causing my son's face to break out. I told him, you gotta kiss him up here now. He just be putting his whole lip on him like that. This is how my son kisses. Wetting up the whole boy face. You wetting up your whole face in. But I'm gonna put some pictures on there, you know, we took when he was, you know, maybe a couple days old in the hospital. He has some nice clear skin. Yeah, that is my birth/horror story. Like I say, don't let this deter you in any way from giving birth. I definitely don't want to send that type of message. You know, it was an experience, but that's what makes it fun to me. Like, I'll never forget it, believe me. And I'm still kind of salty about that hospital ride. You best believe that. Like, I'm still thinking I might call and turn these people in. Like, what y'all think? Leave it in the comments below. I'm salty. I don't care. I'm gonna be petty about that. That poor dude, he probably didn't know what was going on, because I remember when I was trying to make that phone call to somebody help me, to my husband, so he could tell my mama where I'm at. And I remember I had the phone, and I put the phone, I was in so much pain, I had to put the phone down. I remember I put it near him so that, you know, that was the only thing in my mind, put it near him so that he'll see my phone, I don't lose my phone. And so I put it on, he was sitting on the seat like this, so I put it behind him. And here I am trying to reach for the phone, and I'm hitting his butt. I'm like, and he fidgeting, he on the phone with the people, the hospital. I'm just like, what is this girl doing? But I was trying to grab the phone, and I was trying to grab the phone back to make the phone call, but then I was putting it back near him, just behind him, with his butt in that. That's the only thing I could think to do. I was like, what is this girl doing? Trying to touch my butt or something? Like, what is she doing? So that was funny. Like, I just look back at it like, you know what? This is an experience of a lifetime. So, you know, I guess I'm just a positive person. I always see the glass as half full anyway. So it was fun. It was fun. A moment that I will always remember. But I have my little one, and he is so healthy and alert. I don't have too much of a problem with him. Very good baby. Very good baby. You know, I also want to give a shout out to that hospital, because the food, like, that's another thing I was worried about. Like, how was I going to eat as a vegan? Like, I guess those who know, as a vegan, you almost got to eat at home or make it yourself if you want it made right and for it to taste good. Because I'm sorry, a lot of these vegan foods do not taste good. Nope. I don't care if it's coming from a restaurant or wherever. They just be throwing stuff together. But this hospital was so good. I mean, they came in and was like, what you want to eat? I was like, okay, what y'all got? Because I'm already figuring, like, surely y'all don't have enough options, because y'all never do for us vegans. And she's like, just tell us what you want. And I was just trying to see what they had, and I was like, okay, well, give me this and give me that. Until day 2, I found out that, you know, they kept asking me, like, what you want? I was like, these people keep asking me what I want. Like, they basically gonna make anything I want. So I started telling them what I want. And I was like, well, I eat beans, and we got beans, black beans. You want some black beans? Yeah, give me some black beans. We got quinoa. You want some quinoa? You know how quinoa has like a different type of taste. And I was like, yeah, bring me some quinoa. I'll eat that too. And veggie burgers. Well, by day 2, they should have never let me know that they gonna cook me with and give me whatever I want to eat. I mean, I was eating good, real good, like A+ to that hospital. Like, that's the best vegan food. Like, that's better than these restaurants I've eaten at. Like, best vegan food hands down so far. Like, wow, they brought those black beans, and look, I'm secretly, like, after I get off from doing this video, I'm gonna try to imitate them black beans. Let me tell you, I was trying to call that hospital the other day, trying to figure out if I can get in touch with the cafeteria or the head person who make the food, the dietitian, whoever. I was gonna try to see if they can tell me how they made those black beans and that quinoa. Oh my gosh, that thing was, woo! It was A+ good. Like, I ain't never taste quinoa taste so good in my life. Like, the way it was prepared, I don't know what they put in it. I almost wanted to stay another day. Like, usually I'm trying to get out the hospital, but I was thinking about that food. Like, man, I'll stay another day just so I can eat. And the staff there was good. Like, the nurses, A+. They had a lactation nurse. Like, I'm glad I didn't make it to the other hospital, because this hospital right here, yeah, way better. Food and everything. Mwah. Thank you. Good experience. And, you know, as always, you guys, I did that thing. So we got this little baby. We were so happy. and I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.